What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Humm Baby Baseball channel. This is Eric, and today, it's that time of year again. The season's over. The World Series is in the books. Congrats to Bruce Bochy and the Texas Rangers for their first World Championship in franchise history. But now it's time to talk about free agency. It's hot stove time, and I got predictions. I'm going to predict 25 of the top free agents available this offseason. This is my most controversial video of the year. People gonna be pissed. Mets fans, y'all might as well click off now because I ain't got nobody going. I'm just messing with you. I actually got you a couple guys this year, so don't click off. I got you a couple guys this year, Mets fans. But let's go ahead and just jump right into it. Most of this list is right off the top 25 MLB.com website. Made a couple of little changes, but most of it's off the website. So don't yell at me about the order. Let's just talk about where these guys are going. And let's just jump right into the list. And I had to start it off with my man, Joc Pederson. He's actually not in MLB's list, but I wanted to include the forever giant, Joc Pederson. He kind of struggled with consistency during his time here in San Francisco. He would get hot, he would get cold, he would tear it up, then he'd go into a prolonged power slump. This season, he hit .235, 15 home runs. Based on the fact that he got an opportunity to play in the playoffs every year until he came here, I kind of feel like he feels like going elsewhere. So he may go to a team that's likely to contend, but since he's coming off a tough year and he's basically limited to the DH role, he may not have a ton of options. You have teams that need a DH like the Angels, Dodgers. I don't know if he's interested in going back there. You have the Tigers, the Red Sox. So I'm not sure which team would like Joc at this point in his career, but the Miami Marlins have signed similar players in the past. They might be interested. They made the playoffs in 23, so that might be a possible match. I'm going to go with it. Joc signs with Miami.
Miami?
At number 24, we got Harrison Bader, a Gold Glove outfielder. He's got a cannon for an arm. He's got a decent bat, good speed, and he'll be available this offseason. The main issue with Bader is his health. He's never played in more than 138 games. And even for that, you got to go way back to 2018. So he'll likely sign a one-year deal under $10 million, I think. It's the kind of player the Giants would go for, to be quite honest. So it wouldn't surprise me if the Giants signed him. I'm not going to predict that, but it wouldn't surprise me. He's a solid player who can't stay healthy. So the Nationals, Cubs, Blue Jays could be interested. At this point, I'd be a little surprised if he signs with a top contender. One team that does need help going into 2024 is the Kansas City Royals. They should be looking to sign multiple outfielders. I'm going to take Bader signing with Kansas City.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
At number 23, Kenta Maeda. Returning from Tommy John, Maeda struck out 117 batters in 104.1 innings this year. He's got fantastic stuff. He should be ready for a fully productive season in 24. And as recently as 2020, kind of a long time ago now, but doesn't feel like that long ago, he was second in the Cy Young running. So that was a shortened season, but he may have to sign a one-year deal just to prove that he can still pitch at close to that level. He'll be turning 36 early in the season, but I think he's got at least one more solid year left in him. Twins are going to definitely try to bring him back. Other teams are going to be in on Maeda. Angels, the Cardinals definitely need pitching help, but I think this might be a free agent up the sleeve of my team, the San Francisco Giants. No, I'm not going to predict every one of these guys to go to the Giants, but this one I will. Kenta Maeda is coming to San Francisco.
And I hope it happens.
Next up at 22, Jack Flaherty. Not long ago, he was considered one of the best arms in the game with the Cardinals, but his stock has really fallen lately. He struggled with the Orioles. He got sent to the bullpen before the playoffs, and in the ALDS, didn't look too good. I remember he walked like 3 batters, so in only 2 innings. So he still finished 4th for the Cy Young back in 19. Some team will give him a one-year deal just to see if he can rediscover that old form. Dodgers, of course, will be interested. Nationals, Rays, Giants. But I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Pirates, who, like the Giants, have been known to kind of revive struggling pitchers' careers. And it seems like a good match. So for this case, Jack Flaherty, I got going to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Next up at 21, Whit Merrifield, the longtime Royal, 3-time All-Star. He was an Iron Man for years in Kansas City, consistently delivered at least 200 hits per season. Basically a hit king, but after hitting just .272, which is not a bad batting average, but not nearly as good as he used to be, 11 home runs. He did make the All-Star team for the Blue Jays, so He's pretty good, but he's 35 years old. He's got that versatility, play a little infield, play a little outfield, solid hitter, can definitely put the ball in play. He can still run too. He stole like 26 bases. There was an option, but I believe that has been declined already. So several teams should be in on Merrifield, including the Rays, Twins, Marlins, Sox. Jays try to bring him back. He has said he loves Toronto. The Jays do have some room to maneuver with their budget, with their payroll this offseason. So I think there's a good chance he signs back with the Jays or he re-signs with the Jays. But for my official prediction, I'm going to say he leaves. And I got him going to the Tampa Bay Rays. Up next at 20, Aroldis Chapman. And he has just shown the world that he can still bring it at triple digits. Got that nasty slider. He showed everyone in the Fall Classic. And he should get plenty of attention in free agency. He had to sign with the Royals last year, or this year actually. He was with the Royals, got sent to the Rangers, struck out 103 batters in just 58.1 innings, 3.09 ERA. Walk rate is a little high, but the electric stuff is there. So the Braves, Cubs, White Sox, Reds might try to bring him back to Cincinnati. And the Rangers should try to bring him back as well. But Chapman has shown some interest. He said it would be cool to be back with the Reds. Even though they already have Alexis Diaz, I think that Chapman could be an excellent choice as a setup man and backup closer just in case something goes wrong with Diaz. So the Reds, they fell short this year. They had a nice season, but fell short, had a kind of a collapse there. And they'll be looking to bounce back. So I'm going to say the reunion happens and Aroldis Chapman returns to the Cincinnati Reds.
Are you stupid or something?
Up next at 19, Lucas Giolito. After several years of being a consistent arm in the White Sox rotation, Giolito became a hot trade target. Then he went 1-5, ERA of almost 7 with the Angels, got placed on waivers. That was during the great Angel wave of 2023, if you remember that. The Cleveland Guardians picked him up, and he was pretty much just as bad. He went 1-4 with an ERA over 7 with Cleveland. So Giolito, after that meltdown, that's going to probably lessen the dollar amount. It's going to probably hurt his contract offers, but he's still just 29. He's definitely going to be signing with some teams. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, all these teams that need pitching, they can kind of fall back on Giolito if they don't get some of the guys I'm about to talk about a little bit later. It's hard to predict. But I'm going to say the Baltimore Orioles, that's one team that definitely have some holes in their rotation. They'll be the team that takes a chance on Giolito. In my prediction, I'll say Giolito signs with the O's. Number 18, we got Rhys Hoskins, one of the best offensive free agents available. He comes in kind of low because he missed the whole 2023 season, but he has a great eye, patience, power, and it's basically a lock for 30 home runs if he stays healthy. So this is a guy who's definitely going to garner some interest from several teams. In 2022, he did hit 30 bombs, and back in 2019, he led the league with 119 walks. So he's only 30, still in his prime. Several teams are going to be in on Hoskins. And for teams that miss out on some of the top offensive choices, Hoskins is a great kind of backup choice. The only concern is his health with the knee issues, with the torn ACL. But I think the Giants will be in on him. The Cubs, Brewers, Mariners, Padres would be a nice match, but I've heard they're slashing payroll. So I'm really not confident in picking the Padres for too many of these players. But I'm going to go with a little bit of a controversial pick. And I'm going to say he signs with a team that was really, really good this year, just fell short. They're going to look to improve, and that's the Milwaukee Brewers. Number 17, we got Teoscar Hernandez. Teoscar Hernandez, obviously a great power hitter for several years. Broke out with the Blue Jays back in 2018, and he has been solid every year since. He hits 20 home runs at least every year, except for 2020 because that was a shortened year, but he was on a pace to hit over 30. So he had a little bit of a slow start this year, picked it up with the Mariners, ended up with 26 bombs, 93 RBIs. The downside is he will strike out a lot, doesn't walk a ton. He isn't the best defensively, but that power is going to be extremely valuable to some teams. So we're looking at like the Twins, Marlins, Giants, Padres, Mets, Brewers, and it could be like a 5-year deal. It could be 100 million plus. There's a good chance the Mariners re-sign him. They may send him the qualifying offer if they haven't already, but another team that needs some help and are trying to get over this hump. They did win it all in 21, but they're trying to do it again. They had a great year, but fell short in the playoffs. The Atlanta Braves. if they don't re-sign Duvall, if they don't bring back Rosario, not sure what's going on there, but they're going to want to spend some money. They're going to want to improve. I'm going to say Hernandez signs with the Atlanta Braves. Number 16, Shota Imanaga. The 30-year-old lefty has been a top pitcher in Japan for the past several seasons. He's expected to be posted for the 24-year. Started the gold medal game for the World Baseball Classic for Japan. And he's with Yokohama, I believe. And this year he went 7-4, 2.8 ERA, 174 strikeouts, 148 innings. He's got the stuff. But the best thing about him is his control. He walked just 4% of batters that he faced, and he definitely has a chance to be a quality middle of the rotation starter, maybe a number 2, but more likely number 3, number 4 type guy. So any team willing to pay the posting fee should definitely be interested. That includes the Giants, Cardinals, Dodgers, Yankees, Mariners, Angels. These are the teams I'm going to talk about that need a starting pitching help, and they also have money. Red Sox. The Texas Rangers, who originally signed Yu Darvish back in the day, could also show interest. Considering his age, I'm thinking 4 or 5 year deal, no more than that. His stats don't jump off the page like Yamamoto, we'll talk about him a little bit later. But I think the Dodgers, who had major issues with the rotation, they're going to be in on OHTANI also. They're going to be in on Yamamoto. But I'm going to say the Dodgers land this guy. Dodger fans, if you're mad about that, hey, this guy is legit. And I got you guys getting more people a little bit later, okay? So just relax a little bit. But I got LA swooping in to snag Imanaga. He goes to the Dodgers. Up next at number 15, we have Lourdes Gurriel Jr. He made his first All-Star team this season. He crushed 24 home runs to help propel the D-backs into the playoffs and then all the way to the World Series. And he hit a home run in all 3 of the series. He hit one in the NLDS, hit one in the NLCS, hit one in the World Series. He hit 333 in the Fall Classic. And he should be looking for a multi-year deal, possibly north of $12 million per season. So I can see the Braves, Mariners, Giants, Yankees looking to sign this guy. And of course, the D-backs would love to bring him back. His contract prohibits a qualifying offer. So the D-backs aren't going to get any compensation if he signs elsewhere. So I think he will explore free agency. And I think the Marlins are a possibility. Gurriel actually lives in Miami. So there you go. His family lives there. It would make sense. But I'm going to go ahead and predict that he goes with the payday and he signs with the New York Yankees, especially if they miss out on Bellinger. They could use some help in the outfield. So I'll say Gorell Jr. goes to the Yankees. Up next at number 14 is Jang Huli, the Korean slugger. 2022 Korean Baseball Organization MVP, expected to come over to Major League Baseball for 2024. He's 25 years old, center fielder. He has got a vicious bat. Through his 7-year career in the KBO, he has hit 340 with a 407 on base and an 898 OPS. That is the KBO, so I don't expect those numbers, but he could definitely hit close to, if not over 300. He also has some pop. He hit 23 home runs in 2022. Some scouts think he's going to be more of an average MLB player. Others think he's going to just be a superstar. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does. He did miss about half of 2023 with a broken ankle, but should be healthy next year. So Giants, Mariners, Guardians, Blue Jays, maybe the Tigers, maybe the Mariners, and definitely the Yankees are going to be interested. But the 2 teams I like most for Lee are the Giants and Mariners. And these are 2 teams that kind of need pure hitters. They need hitters who don't strike out all the time. You can count on them to come through with men on base. And the last time the Giants signed a Korean player I remember very well was in 2018. This was a guy who raked in Korea named Jae-gwon Hwang. And he came over here, hit about 154. So we ended up sending him back. He went back to Korea. Didn't work out, but I feel like Jang Huli is a better option, a better gamble. But unfortunately, to be honest, I think the Giants will miss out. And I'm going to say Lee ends up signing with the Seattle Mariners. Up next at 13, Eduardo Rodriguez. And I haven't heard yet. By the time this video is up, you probably already know if he's opted out, but I think he's going to opt out. So he became an instant legend in San Francisco when he used his no trade clause to decline a trade to the Dodgers. Instant hero here in San Francisco. We got posters of him. We're trading baseball cards of him. It's just crazy here in San Francisco. Like, this guy is just, I think we're going to put him on the wall of fame if I'm not mistaken. So that's just a joke, but that was pretty cool to see him do that. But this year he went 13-9. 3.3 ERA for the Tigers and 82-53 on his career, 4.16 This guy's just consistent. He's never made an all-star team, but he's just consistently solid rotation arm. Should be looking at about a 4 to 5 year deal, around $100 million. Several teams will be in on him, including the Tigers. They're going to want to re-sign him, even if he opts out. The Reds are a nice fit, but I'm going to go with a team that definitely is going to be looking to add starting pitching this offseason. That's the St. Louis Cardinals, who had an abysmal 2023 season. They are desperate for quality starters. They're going to pay up for a starter. I don't know who it's going to be, but I will predict it's Eduardo Rodriguez. He signs with the St. Louis Cardinals. At number 12 is Clayton Kershaw. And yeah, despite all the young and elite talent that the Dodgers had this year, Dustin May, Julio Urias, Tony Gonsolin, it was Clayton Kershaw who came through more than any of them. 13-5, 2.46 ERA. He did struggle again in the playoffs, but the guy's just amazing. And you can't expect him to hit 200 innings anymore, but Clayton Kershaw is still one of the best. Every time I predict him to go elsewhere, he stays. I predicted him to sign with the Rangers in the past. It never happens. I kind of think he's going to either retire or re-sign with the Dodgers. I have to say my official prediction is he re-signs with the Dodgers, but I will say if he does leave, just for fun, even if I think someone's going to re-sign, I'll give you what team I think they'll go to if they do leave. And if he does leave, I'll say he goes to the Texas Rangers. At number 11 is Jorge Soler, who has opted out of his contract. He's a free agent, power hitter, 36 bombs for the Marlins, 30 years old, still in his prime. Could be a very, very solid and powerful DH for some team. Remember, he hit 48 bombs back in 2019. So World Series MVP in 21, made his first All-Star team this year. He does strike out a lot, but he can work a walk, gets on base, 341 on base percentage. So the Marlins will definitely try to bring him back. Also the Mariners, Astros, Mets, Padres, Cubs. I think there's a strong chance he does stay in Miami, but if he does leave, I will say Soler ends up signing with, I got y'all, I said at the beginning of the video, the New York Mets, who definitely could use an upgrade in the DH department over, I think they got Vientos and Vogelbach. So I'll say Jorge Soler to the Mets.
What?
Number 10, we move into the top 10. It's Matt Chapman, the 2014 first round pick, third baseman. He was at one time just an absolute stud, a superstar, but his stats have kind of taken a dip in the last few years. Hit just 17 homers this year, 240 average. It's nothing special, but he's still Matt Chapman. He's still a defensive wizard. And because this year's free agent market's a little bit light, I think he should be able to land a pretty good contract. And there's going to be a team hoping he can get back that 25 plus home run power. So the Mets have been a team rumored to be in on Chapman. The Yankees should be interested. The Brewers, Dodgers, Cubs, the Blue Jays are going to want him back. This is going to be a big contract. 5-6 years, 100 million plus. I'm going to say it's the Chicago Cubs who do need a third baseman. They had a nice season and then they fell apart. They're going to want to try again. And I can see them adding a free agent like Chapman, even though he's coming off a bad year. Remember, they signed Bellinger after a bad year and it worked out. So the Cubs, Matt Chapman, that's my prediction. Up next at number 9, we have the veteran JD Martinez. He's in his mid-30s, but he's still elite. 3 straight All-Star teams. He had a great year for the Dodgers. Hit 271, 33 bombs, 103 driven in. And if the Dodgers don't sign another DH, I truly think they'll bring him back. That would be my first prediction right off the bat. But I'll give you a different team just for fun. But I think the Dodgers are going to try to bring him back. He hit a nice home run in the playoffs, even though the Dodgers lost. He's got that veteran leadership, great career. He's already a borderline Hall of Famer. He's going to be in the discussion. So I think the Dodgers will bring him back. But if not, there's going to be a ton of teams. The Blue Jays, the Tigers, the Angels, the Marlins, the Mariners, the Mets I mentioned as maybe needing a DH. I know JD has said at this point in his career he wants to win. So I'm going to say the Toronto Blue Jays, who mostly use Brandon Belt and I think Vlad Guerrero Jr. as their DH mostly. I think they would like to have a full-time DH, power-hitting guy, gap-to-gap power, and with the doubles and the home runs and JD Martinez and that leadership. Seems like a great match. So if he leaves the Dodgers, I'll say that JD signs with the Toronto Blue Jays, as this is a team that keep getting closer. They're just falling short. They want that world championship. So JD to the Jays. At number 8, we have Jordan Montgomery, a left-hander who really improved his free agent stock after he got traded to the Rangers. 4-2 in 11 starts, 2.79 ERA, helped propel them into the playoffs, had some great starts for them in the playoffs and regular season. He's just a consistent guy, year in and year out. Not a huge gamble to add him. He stays healthy for the most part. He just delivers. You know, his ERA is going to be under 4, and he's going to give your team a chance to win pretty much every time out. So that's going to cost money, though. $20 million a year plus 4 or 5 year contract. I can see the Giants being interested, the Rangers, the Dodgers, the Phils, the Yankees, the Red Sox. Probably all 30 teams should be interested, to be honest. But also the D-backs are going to be interested. Remember, the D-backs, they have a nice rotation. Obviously, they won the NL championship, but it's kind of top heavy. You got Gallant, you got Kelly, Pott. After that, a little bit questionable. So I don't know. I'm not saying the D-backs will sign Montgomery, but I think they will sign a quality arm this offseason. The Cardinals are going to try to bring him back to St. Louis. But I'm going to say that the 2022 NL champs, the Philadelphia Phillies, they're going to try to replace Aaron Nola, assuming Nola leaves. And even if Nola comes back, I think that the Phillies are going to want to improve their rotation. They're going to sign Jordan Montgomery, at least according to my prediction. At number 7, another great starter, and it is Sonny Gray. He went 8-8. Not a great record, but he didn't get a ton of run support. 2.79 ERA. And guy's stuff is just nasty, and he's one of the better pitchers in the league. Twins are going to go all out to bring him back. They'll probably send him a qualifying offer. He'll probably turn it down. He's going to go for a multi-year deal, $22 million per season. Cubs will be in on him. The Red Sox, the Giants, the Mets, the Cardinals, the Dodgers, Orioles as well. But I actually think that Sonny Gray will stay put in Minnesota. I got him re-signing with the Twins as my official prediction. But if he does leave, I'll say it is the Arizona Diamondbacks who do add another starter and try to run it back again in 2024. So if he leaves, I'll have Sonny Gray going to Arizona. At number 6, we got Josh Hader. This is the best available closer on the market. This guy's only 29. He'll be 30 in April. Last season, 1.28 ERA, 33 saves, 85 strikeouts in just 56 1/3. So he's going to be looking for a massive payday. He wants to be the highest paid closer in the game, and he will be. And I think that high rollers are going to be paying out to get Josh Hader this year. The Padres are a team that's been willing to spend big. Obviously, they're going to want to bring him back. But again, if they're looking to cut payroll, I don't know if they want to, bring back the highest paid closer of all time, which is what might happen. The Phillies could use a new closer, assuming Kimbrel leaves. I mean, we're talking 3-4 years, $20 million plus for a reliever. So it's kind of hard to pick. But I'm going to say one team that is ready to spin big and win big, because they've already done it, and they just did win big, and I'm talking about a World Series, and that's the Texas Rangers. They profited nicely for this World Series, and they're ready to run it back in 24. They're going to reload. They're going to try to do it again. So I got the Rangers making this move and really fortifying that bullpen. I know they already got some great arms, but they want Hader, and I think the Rangers signed Josh Hader. Moving into the top 5, we got Aaron Nola, one of the top starters on the free agent market, and he's been a little bit inconsistent this year, but down the stretch, he looks great. His resume is impeccable, super resilient, doesn't miss a start. Former All-Star, he's finished with the top 10 for the Cy Young 3 times. And the only thing that's kind of scary is he's entering into his 30s. He's been so healthy for so long, you feel like, I think ultimately it has to be looked on as a positive that he stayed so healthy, but it is kind of feel like Tommy John surgery is like the chicken pox. Like every pitcher has it at some point, it almost feels like. So I would be a little worried about that, because Nola's been so good, so healthy. It's like, is he about to get hurt? I hope not. But anyway, like all the teams I talked about, the Phillies, Cubs, Giants, Cardinals, Red Sox, Dodgers, of course, the Phillies are going to try to bring him back. All these teams will be interested, but I'm going to go with a team that I haven't picked yet to get a top starter, and I think they're going to be looking for one and paying for one, and that's the Boston Red Sox. And I see this as a good matchup, so I'm going to say Aaron Nola signs with the Red Sox. At number 4, we got Cody Bellinger. I can't believe he's this high on the list. I cannot believe Cody Bellinger is a top free agent. About a year ago, it looked like this guy was almost ready for minor league contract status, but The Cubs signed him for $17.5 million. I totally disagreed with that, and he proved me completely wrong. Hit .307, 26 homers, 97 RBIs. He has reestablished himself as a premier hitter, and he's going to be looking to cash in with a multi-year deal. A lot of Giants fans are saying sign him. I'm personally terrified that he'll revert back to this sub-Mendoza line batting average, which is a batting average under 200 is the Mendoza line for those who don't know. Most of you probably know, but yeah, he hit like one something a couple years ago, and all of a sudden he's got it back. That's great. But I would be scared he's going to turn back into that terrible player because he has had a back and forth career. But the Giants will show interest. So will the Angels, Mariners, Blue Jays, Yankees. Cubs will try to bring him back. But I'm going to say, after losing some talent in free agency that we're about to talk about in a minute, I'm going to say that the LA Angels step it up and sign Bellinger to a multi-year deal. He goes back to Los Angeles, but now with the Halos. Coming in at number 3, Blake Snell. Over his last 23 starts of the year, he went 13-3, 1.2 ERA. He is the favorite to win the NL Cy Young. And another crazy stat, he didn't allow a run in 5 of his last 6 starts. So he finished the year strong, and he is going to be a top free agent this offseason. His stuff is nasty. He's just 30 years old, multiple good years left in that arm. And the Dodgers are going to try to bring him up a few miles north. The Giants are going to try to bring him up a few more miles north. And the Astros are a team I haven't mentioned too much. They could be looking to add some rotation pieces. Obviously, the D-backs. But one team that has the money, that needs starting pitching help. I've already given y'all one person. I'm going to give y'all another one. I don't want to hear it, New York Mets fans. I'm going to give y'all Blake Snell, because I think that the Mets may not get Yamamoto or Ohtani. Sorry about that. Could be wrong on that, but I think the Mets will get a top pitcher, and I'm going to say it's going to be Blake Snell. Number 2, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And coming in at number 2, yes, it is the Japanese phenom, 25-year-old, who has won back-to-back MVPs in Japan. The stuff is filthy, high 90s, plus curve. The split finger just dies, and it's impossible to hit. Very difficult to identify. 23 starts on the year, 1.23 ERA. This is a guy who most scouts and fans think can jump right into a number 2 or even a number 1 slot for a big league rotation. So big money is on the line right here. This guy's going to come to the United States and help a team make the playoffs, in my opinion. He could demand a 7-year contract, over $200 million. And all the teams I've talked about that need pitching, that have money, the Mets, the Dodgers, Yankees, Phillies, will be in on him. The Giants are going to be in on him. I heard that they won't be outbid for him, but I've heard that before, so I'm not getting my hopes up, but I would love to have him. I think he ends up signing with a team that has gotten many great Japanese players in the past. Check out my latest video on the top 10 Japanese players who played MLB of all time. So I will say that the New York Yankees end up landing Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and he will be in pinstripes in 2024. Yamamoto to the Bronx. Number 1, Shohei Otani, obviously the modern day Babe Ruth, the best of the best. Despite the recent injury and elbow surgery, Otani can still rake, and soon enough he'll be back on the mound. He hit .304 this season, 44 bombs, 20 stolen bases, and went 10-5 on the mound with a 3.14 ERA. He's the best of the best. That's all there is to it. He's the most popular player in the game. He is everything right now. MLB, this is the man right here. So he might not be ready to pitch this year, or next year, I should say, in 24, but he will be a full-time DH, and then in 25, he should be back on the mound. But the contract might have some opt-in, opt-out clauses and incentives and whatnot, but I think we're talking about $500 million. So this is going to be crazy. Obviously, the Dodgers are going to be in on him. I think the Dodgers are the favorites. You have the Rangers, the Mariners, the Mets, of course, and pretty much any team that can afford him. But the Padres, I know that I said they wanted to slash payroll. Who knows? They might go crazy. They've done it crazy stuff before, and they may go after him. But I'm going to go ahead. I got to go full homer. I got to go full fan for this one here. And I do think the Giants are, after that terrible season, I genuinely think they're going to throw a ton of money at both Yamamoto and Otani. And I'm going to say that the San Francisco Giants bring Shohei to the Bay in 24. He's coming to the Giants. I'm saying it now. You know it, and I know it.
You serious?
Shohei Otani, San Francisco Giants. The prediction is in. And hey, if you made it this far and you're pissed, I do appreciate you checking out the video. But hey, I only give the Giants a couple of those guys. Okay, I had to go crazy there at the end. So I really want Shohei Otani, genuinely. I think the Dodgers are the favorites, but I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say the Giants get Shohei. So that does it for my 24 free agent predictions. Put your complaints in the comments below. And this is always my most controversial video, like I said, but the comments are always pissed. And I love it, dude. I love engaging in arguments, so bring them on. But you guys are awesome. Thanks for checking out the video. Hit the thumbs up and the subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. We'll talk to you next time.